Hey guys, Dara here and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. For my August TBR, there will be some books rolled over from last month. They're mostly books that I decided to read last month for the readathons, started them, but never got to finish them. Now, if you know me, you know I'm a mood reader, so my TBR is subject to change, as well as I may not read all of these books. So without further ado, let's just get started. First book I have rolled over from last month is Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare. This is the second book in the Infernal Devices series. Now, the Infernal Devices is one of my favorite series in the Shadowhunter world. This takes place in the 1800s, and we follow Tessa as she goes to London to visit her brother. But when she arrives at London, she finds out that he's gone missing. To find her brother, Tessa decides to team up with demon slayers Will and Jem. That's when they realize there's an organization of downworlders known as the Pandemonium Club that want to destroy the Shadowhunters. I read the first book for the Book Junkie Trials. This was supposed to be the second book in the Book Junkie Trials, but as I started reading it, I realized I wasn't in the mood to continue on at least that month with the series. I got to page 52, not even 100 pages in, when I realized I really didn't want to read it. So here's to hoping that I actually finish it this month. I remember reading this series for the first time and absolutely adoring them. Now, when I read book one, I still loved it, but I realized there was some things I didn't like about the story. And there's also some things that I've read in this book so far that I'm not liking, and that's gonna be fun to talk about later on in the month once I read it. Next is Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nang. Our main character is Papercast Lee. Now, Papercast is considered to be the lowest of the cast as well as the most prosecuted. She lived in a small village with her father when the royal guards decided to attack that village to take Lee to be the king's concubine. While training to be the king's consort, Lee falls in love, and because her romance is forbidden, she needs to decide how much she'll risk and how far she'll go to protect that love and get her freedom. I have heard mixed reviews about this book. So far, every booktuber that I've watched who read this book has said they either loved it, they enjoyed it, or it wasn't that bad. But if you go on Goodreads, there are some reviews that are not as nice. I keep trying not to read them, but it's just, you know, I like to read reviews to make sure I'm getting a good book. But because this has been so widely up and down, I decided to give it a chance. I believe I've heard that this is a female-female relationship romance. I'm not sure if this is a trilogy or just a duology, but I believe the second book is coming out at the end of this year or the beginning of next year. Can't remember. Next, I have Cinder by Marissa Meyer. Here we follow Cinder, who is a cyborg. And because she's a cyborg, she's either feared or despised by her community. But being a cyborg has its perks. Because of her cyborg mind, she's able to fix anything and everything, which gives her the title of being the best mechanic out there. Prince Kai, hearing this, takes it upon himself to take his broken droid for Cinder to fix, claiming that the information that the droid has is national security kind of thing, but then he changes his mind, like, oh, I'm just kidding. Cinder wants to impress Prince Kai, but her plans come to a stop when her youngest stepsister comes down with the plague that has been destroying her town. Cinder's stepmother, blaming her for the reason that her stepsister has fallen ill, she volunteers Cinder to be the guinea pig so they can find a cure for this plague. I remember reading it the first time. I believe I gave it 4 stars in the Goodreads scale, 83% in my own personal scale. I'm not big on sci-fi books, but for some reason I did enjoy this book to the extent that I wanted to continue with the series, and I have all the books and I really want to finish it. I know I won't finish it before the year's over, but hopefully I finish the series by the beginning of 2020. The next book I want to read is Walder Girls by Rory Power. I believe this is the July book for the Barnes & Noble YA book club. The meeting will take place on August 8th at 7 p.m. at any of your local Barnes & Noble. I am the host for the Barnes & Noble YA book club. So in this book, we follow 2 characters, Hetty and Byatt. They go to an all-girl boarding school, and then the boarding school is put under quarantine because a plague called the Tox has spread. It started off slowly, only killing the teachers, but now when it starts to infect the students turned into something that's odd and strange, and they don't know what's going on. Now, Tox has actually spread through the woods as well. So when Byatt wanders off into the woods and disappears, Hetty takes it upon herself to go and risk everything to find buy it. This book has been getting rave reviews, so I'm very excited to read it. This will be the first book I read in August, mostly because a meeting is coming up soon and I want to be ready so I can discuss it with everyone. Next, I have There Will Be a Darkness by Katie Rose Poole. This is an ARC and I got it from work. The book will be released in September of this year. I'm not quite sure what the date is. In this world, prophets have guided humanity for generations. Their visions ended wars and united nations, until one day when the prophets disappeared. But before disappearing, the prophets left with one more secret prophecy, foretelling the age of darkness and the birth of a new prophet who could save the world or destroy it. They're not quite sure. It kind of gives me a Darker Shade of Magic / Six of Crows feel, because we do follow 5 characters who could save or destroy the world. It all sounds delicious to me and I can't wait to read it. I want to say this may be the second book I read because I read the first 5 pages and was absolutely in love with it. And the last book on my August TBR is The Daughter of Sherlock Holmes by Leonard Goldberg. The year is 1914 and we follow Joanna. Joanna has a keen mind and an incredible insight that helps her in her nursing career. But one day, Joanna and her 10-year-old son witness a man fall to his death in an apparent suicide. Later, they are visited by Dr. John Watson and his son, Dr. John Watson Jr., who are heavily impressed in her forensic skills. But Joanna harbors a mystery, and that secret is that she's the daughter of Sherlock Holmes and Irene Adler. I've been in a serious Sherlock Holmes kick ever since I saw Sherlock Holmes with Benedict, who is my new favorite person that I love. He's gorgeous. I've always wanted to read some Sherlock mysteries, but I never knew where to start, so I just decided to go with some retellings or novels inspired by Sherlock Holmes. Those are all the books I want to read this month. Let me know down in the comments below. Have you read any of these books or do they sound interesting to you? Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe if you want to see more of my face, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!